One of my favourite things to add to a garden to create a point of difference from everyone else is a water feature or a pond. Now today I'm going to put an informal pond into this space. I've got my PVC liner, I've got my pump, that's pretty much all you need. This is a great little weekend job that you can tackle. The first thing I want to do is get this out of the plastic, lay the PVC on the lawn and let it sunbake. It gets rid of the creases and makes it easy to work with later on. So the liner I'm using is 3 metres by 2 metres. You can get larger or you can get it off the roll for really big ponds. But 3 by 2 is manageable. I'll end up with a pond that could be about 2 metres long, about 1.2 metres wide, because you've got to take the floor and the sides and then a bit of overhang that you cover with rocks and mulch and hide the edges. So this is my space. It's a big garden bed. It's formed. It's got buxus around the outside and this magnolia. So I'm going to put a nice natural little pond in here and then plant out the rest of the garden. First thing I need to do is just move the mulch back, because when we're finished, we can put it back into position. All right, so now we're going to work out our shape. You could use mark out paint if you've got it, but it's not worth going and buying a tin for 20 bucks just to do something like this. You could grab the hose and make the shape, but what I like to do is just trace it out with some of the sand that I'm going to bed it on anyway. The reason why I like that is it doesn't move like the hose is going to move on me, and I haven't had to spend money like buying the paint. If you don't like it, it's pretty easy to rub out and start again. Now the least fun job out of all of it is digging the hole, but it's a great time to get the kids involved. They can earn their pocket money. So we've dug the hole, and what we're left with no surprise because it's a relatively new build, is a bit of builder's rubble, some rocks, some clay, a bit of sand and some garden soil. Now if I was to lay the liner down, I'd run the risk of one of those rocks or builder's rubble coming through the PVC. It's extremely tough, but it still could be punctured by something really sharp. So I've got some bricklayer sand. The reason why I use that, it's got a bit of clay in it, so I can tip it in here and shape it around a little bit like a renderer, get it nice and smooth and a coverage everywhere, and then we can bring the liner in. Now putting the liner in is a two-man job, not because it's so heavy, it's just a little bit big and bulky. We'll get the creases out of it. It won't look anything like a pond, but we can start filling that with water now. And as it sinks down, we can make sure it hugs against the sand. You're probably looking at it at the moment thinking, why would I go to the expense of buying the pond liner? Why wouldn't I just use black plastic? Well, black plastic isn't UV protected. So you go to all the effort of building it, and then it's going to break down the sun. Within a matter of months, it's going to leak and you're going to curse it. Now, it's not a plastic and it's not a rubber, it's a PVC. UV protective, and the fact that it's PVC means that there's no toxins leaking back into the water, so it's safe for fish. That's why it's worth spending a few dollars and getting the right product. Now the fun bit, you get to dress it up. I'm going around the edge just with a river pebble to make it look a little bit more natural. In some spots I'm 2, 3 wide away from the PVC. What you need is about 150 to 200 mil around the top with the rocks on it to anchor it down, and then I can bring up the mulch to the back of that. The mulch is far enough away from the pond that it's not going to end up in there and make it murky. We're getting there, it looks good, but at the moment it's not practical. Still water, as pretty as it is going to end up smelling a bit, and if you put fish in it, it'll go green in no time at all, and it'll be a perfect place for mozzies to grow. So you need to put a pump in to break the water. That puts oxygen back into it, which keeps the fish happy, it keeps the water fresh, and mozzies can't lay eggs in water that's moving. It's simply just put it together and plug it in. So we've got our pump, nice long lead, some risers, and all different type of finishes. So if you want one that creates a bell or something that looks more formal like a daisy and sends out some nice little wisps of water, they're all in here, plus a flow regulator so you can have it nice and strong or turn it down if you like. Now this is a great little pump, and it does come with a filter, albeit a small one. Now I don't want to be out here each week rinsing that out, so I like to go for one of these guys. Now, how often do you have to clean it? Well, rule of thumb, about once a month, but whenever you see the flow reducing, it means this is starting to back up. Now what you want to rinse it out in is grab a bucket and take a bucket of the water out of the pond and rinse it out in that. That keeps all the good bacteria in here and gets rid of all the bigger stuff which is stopping the flow. Then you can just top up the pond with another fresh bucket of water. Now for a riser, this is how it works. It's a flow regulator into a riser with this cone at the top, and then you can choose one of 3 different fittings depending on the look you want. Everything just needs to be finger tight, nothing silly. I think we're ready to go. This is the magic moment, the pump's going in. Now you want to put it at the deepest part of the pond because any leaf litter or anything that's been blown in here is going to sink and go to that spot, and we can pick it up with a filter. I'm just removing the excess liner. Now you want about 40 centimeters around the side as a really good anchor, but it's really good and helpful because it stops the mulch from going into your pond from rain or when you're watering your garden. Well, the satisfaction of a job well done is definitely on my face. This is a great weekend job for any family. Skill level is dead easy. Result is very high. It looks fantastic, and I can tell you, just sitting here with the tranquility and that noise, it's only going to look better in time as the plants grow up. And I think the only thing that could make it better is if I added some pond lights, because then I could spend more time enjoying it because you can see it at night. Create a bit of brilliance in your own backyard with Aquapro.